This guy here, I'm not so sure.
Okay.
Yours truly, and this is Bruce Lane here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the way this is, so would this cause a lot of damage? I mean, how long did it take you to get this back in operation?
We did quite a lot of damage between the engine and the plow. We tore the
So
knuckle off, yes, broke off the knuckle and the drawbar and whatnot, and turned over the stove in the plow. Those guys went on the floor.
So it was quite a jolt.
And I just remember this guy's name is Pat Humphreys.
Okay, so now we got them all. So.
Yeah, yeah.
But it still amazes me, and I don't know how many times I'm going to look at these photographs of trains and snow, but it seems amazing that something as light and fluffy as snow can force something this big and heavy.
Yeah. Well, ice used to form underneath the wheels, and it would build up and force it off the track.
Lift you off
and they could feel that in the plow, and they'd generally tell you road crossings were the worst. Well, we'd generally slow down at road crossings if it were heavy snow or wet snow, you know, because this is the place we'd always go off on road crossings.
Yeah. Yes, because I guess with the traffic and everything.
Yes, we left here one time. I bet you went off 30 or 40 times before we got to Port aux Basques on the crossing.
And you wonder why the train was late.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Now, this is a beauty.
This is the same plow special, but it's about a mile east of where we were when Brendix took that picture as well. Yes.
Oh,
within 10 minutes of.
Oh, okay.
Those pictures were sequenced.
Well, this gives you a good idea of the train
yes.
and the plow in operation.
And this was very heavy snow. It was a very mild and warm day, and there wasn't that much snow around, but we did hit drifts, and this is what caused it to go off.
Did they give you a false sense of security when you see, like you say, it looks like here
yes.
that there's very little snow?
Oh yeah, it's hard to believe that, you know, that. But you'd get it mostly in rock cuts. You'd get the snow where the snow would drift over and come down into the rock cuts.
So you'd be clipping along at about 40 miles an hour and hit
Well, we would be sometimes if they wanted to do that, but generally it was around 30 miles an hour. You know, you'd run a plow. But if they wanted to get through, they'd whistle you up and they'd give you a couple of toots on the whistle or say, we'll have to go a little faster for this one. And you'd have to open the throttle a little more.
Okay. Now, I got another one. This one, I think, has a little bit of nostalgia. This is a beautiful photograph.
Put a heartbreak there.
Yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone because we can just. Do you know all the guys on this?
I know them, but I can't name them right now.
I didn't want to do that to you, so we'll just. What is this photograph?
This guy right here, Bill Beggs, he was the roadmaster. He's a sort of a special guy because our life depended on him.
Was he?
This guy right here.
The last one over? Okay.
Yeah, our life depended on this guy, and he made sure that his track was A1.
Yeah. Now, this is a real nice photo.
Yeah, it's
You're
nice.
saying professionally done.
Yes, it is, yeah. This was done by Falk, is it?
In Gander?
Gander, I think, yeah. He spent a couple of weeks with me on the train, work trains.
So what was this?
I got to know him pretty well.
What was the occasion?
We were taking up rails down at the junction at that time. Picking up ties and picking up rails.
So this was the dismantling
yes.
of the railway?
Yes. Yeah.
So this was what, 88?
88, yeah.
Yeah, 80.
Yeah. This was, I worked a couple of weeks after I retired, after I took the last train out of Corner Brook. I was on the work train that took up the first rail at mileage 340. That was a sad occasion for sure.
Yeah. So it seems like, well, I guess to you and to the other railroaders who've been on the show, it seems like another lifetime.
Yes.
Was there any, a couple of questions for you. First of all, the hardest part of your whole life working with the railroad, was there any one thing that was the hardest that you had to do?
Hardest part for me, I like lots of sleep. The hardest part for me was being called probably 1 o'clock in the morning to probably go on a plow special, knowing you were going to be gone probably 24 hours with no sleep. And to try to keep your eyes open was about the hardest.
Because
but it was still enjoyable. I still liked it in spite of that. Yes, absolutely.
But they had these things ready for you to go, didn't they? If they
oh yeah, they were ready to go, yeah. On a minute's notice, you'd have a couple hours to get ready, but if they wanted you in a real hurry, then you would forget everything and just go and get aboard and go.
But we hear about the hard times, and it looks like a lot of the derailments are spread either winter and summer.
Yes, absolutely.
What about summertime and spring and fall? Was there any hazard in particular then? I know washouts might have been one.
Yeah, well, that was our biggest worry. If you had 2 days of heavy rain and the phone rang for you to go out from Port aux Basques or to Bishop Falls, it didn't matter. That was one of your biggest worries, worrying about a washout. or some side hill coming down in front of you, because just the vibration of the train going up the hill or down the hill, you know, could cause a rock slide or a landslide or whatever, or a snow slide. And it would cause derailment, and it could be very catastrophic, really.
So was there any communication? Like, would anybody ever get ahead of you and
this
say...
This is where this road foreman or the roadmaster and his gang, the sectionmen, these are unsung heroes of the railroad as far as I'm concerned, the sectionmen, because they had with all kinds of weather, and I've seen them with their faces frozen, and only to come in and thaw their face and get out to into it again and come back 10 minutes after with their face frozen again. And I respect those guys.
Because I know there are stories that are almost have become folklore, because I know Martin Pike in Hummermouth. There was a story where he was credited with saving a train. I mean, there was a major washout, and he managed to get word and stop the train, and it was really appreciated. They were rewarded.
I think those guys were a special breed as far as I'm concerned, because the conditions they worked under, you know, especially in earlier days, they'd have to have their meals by the side of the track down in the ditch somewhere, you know. They didn't have any place to eat, and in the wintertime they'd get aboard of a speeder with the temperature probably 10 below zero and a chill factor of probably 70 or 80 degrees, you know, and lots of times open speeder. And those guys were tough.
Those days you didn't hear tell of Far West Gore-Tex clothes?
No way. I don't know how they survived. I really don't know. And they never complained. I must say, I never heard those guys complain. You know, they come in and say, Ray, it's cold out there today or something, and his face will be frozen or something like that, eh?
But were you guys unionized? I mean, were you...
Oh, yeah.
Was there somebody looking out for your...
Yes, but those guys weren't looked after as far as I'm concerned. I think they were underpaid and overworked. But they weren't overworked because they were driven. It was because they were dedicated men. Yeah. And I respect them.
Yeah. And I mean, there's some of the older guys, I mean, when they go back and they talk about no communications.
And they were, those guys, yeah.
Yeah, one of the best lines I remember is one of the guys on the previous show was saying, he said, when you took the train and left, you were on your own.
Absolutely. What? No communications. Well, the only communication they did have was that they'd have a long pole, and they'd have two hooks on it where they could hook on the telephone line, and they could probably get hold of the dispatcher in that means only. Yeah. Otherwise, you were out on your own, to the mercy of the world.
Yeah. But I guess you're a lover of the outdoors, so I guess going through the Newfoundland countryside back in those days must have been a pleasure.
Yeah, I'm a nature lover, I think, really. Well, to me, it was almost like slow motion, really, because we weren't going that fast, especially if you were going for Gaff Topsail. You were probably going 5 miles an hour. I can remember on one occasion in the summertime when we could get down and run ahead and scoop up sand and put on the, if the sand wasn't working on the engine, you could run ahead of the engine. You're probably going 4 or 5 miles an hour. And you scoop sand and put on the rail to keep going, because we didn't want to double. If you had to double, you had to break your train and go up to a siding, come back and hook your train and bring the rest up. That's what you had to do. So rather than do that, we would get out and throw sand on the rail. Yeah, those were unique experiences.
So from your days in a fishing village to present time.
Long way in that respect, yes. Yeah.
Would you do it all over again?
Absolutely. Wouldn't hesitate. I'd go right now if they called me.
Okay.
You have quite a job, I know, but
we're out of time.
I'm pretty fast.
Yeah, and what can I say? Thank you for sharing your stories and sharing your photographs and taking time out to be with us.
I'm hopeful that I could have been some assistance to you anyhow, and it's nice being here with you.
Keep the memories alive.
Try that.
All right, and keep watching, and we'll have more people around. And,
For sure I'll be watching.
Stir your memories a little more as well. So we'll be back next time with another Railroaders program. See you then.